Greetings, Internet. I am Jacob, but you can call me Jake. My friends call me Jake, and I want you to be my friend, so you can call me Jake. Today, I realized that if I turn my computer, which has the camera, away from my light over there, you can actually see more of my face. So I'm doing that now. Plus, you can also see my posters, and you don't have Matt over here staring directly in your face, which I realized might have been a little creepy. I mean, I'm fine with it. By the way, these aren't all of my posters. I also have another one over there of Darth Vader, and it looks really cool. In fact, I'll show it to you. Here, come on. And here we go. Get to see my room. That's my jacket. I have a bunk bed, but I sleep underneath it. I have a shelf. Those are very good curtains, but here is a poster. I like it because it's cool and artsy. And that is a painting that my dad made when I was a kid, so I like it. It did sort of become me. I'm very outdoorsy. I really enjoy nature, so it ended up being a bit of a thing. Now I'm gonna sit back down and adjust it so that it works. Perfect. Now, if you did not know, because I should have told you, or you should have watched some of my other videos if you would like to see some of those. I know my first one might not be super good, but I'm pretty sure the other one was. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. That's up to you guys. Like, subscribe. I'll be doing these every once in a while. I'll try to do one each week, but if you didn't know, I'm with AGS, which is Anime Gamer Station. We have a podcast. We had a podcast. I'm pretty sure we're doing that again. We might be. We also have a Facebook page. We're trying to get up a thing, a website, but we don't have a lot of content. So here you go. Here's some content. This is going to be up on AGS as well as my own channel, and it's basically about Justice League. Mainly the problem with Justice League, because it was very good, but there was a problem. So this is Justice League. Why Justice League? The animated series, based off of the Batman and Superman animated series, and of course Batman Beyond as well, which I've mentioned before if you've been following AGS. Why Justice League was more adult oriented. First off, the Justice League. There's Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. In Unlimited, they of course have more heroes. They had to rebuild the Watchtower, so a bunch of other stuff happened. But mainly, in Justice League, they were all two-parters. In Justice League, they had a Part 1 and a Part 2 for every single episode, leading you to have basically 1 hour parts, which would obviously be something that you would see more in an adult show. Most adult shows have 1 hour increments instead of, kids shows that are now apparently getting cut down to 15 minutes. Well, there are some adult cartoon shows that were 15 minutes, like Aqua TV Show, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, all that, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Justice League. It was a very good show, but the kids didn't like it because, one, they needed something practical, something where they could just sit down and be like, oh, we're kids, we're going to watch this right now, and not try to DVR it. And back then, we didn't even have a lot of DVRs. I mean, there were some, but it wasn't like a big thing that everybody has now. So it was a hard thing to do, and you couldn't really commit. It was hard for kids to commit to something. So that's sort of why it failed. It had all these things going for it, but it didn't end in the right way. Plus, there were a lot of adult themes. It's not just about the increments that they put it into and the parts. It's the themes that they had. For one, there's a big romance between Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, and that gets mushed up when Hawkgirl's race, the Thanagarians, Thanagarians, because they're from Thanagar, get messed up a bit, but the Thanagarians, in one of the episodes of Justice League, come to Earth. They, of course, have a nefarious plot that has to stop, and there's this whole thing with Hawkgirl where she basically is out of the team now. She left herself because they decided that she was a traitor, even though she came back. There was a vote. She didn't even want to hear it. She decided to leave. But the main thing was that Green Lantern, John Stewart, basically took the what was I gonna say? Basically took the whole. She was actually married, basically. She was already engaged to somebody, and he took that bad, because how else would you take it? Hi. Hey, boyfriend. Meet my fiance. Wait, what? Are you serious? Are you serious here? So, just me, but that would be a red flag. And there's also a lot of crap with that. So, that's one of the adult themes. The other one was the fact that they didn't use Hal Jordan, they used John Stewart. Which, of course, brings up the fact that, hey, race. We need to have a black guy on the team. I mean, some people say that Jean Jones, since he was played, usually his voice is played by a black guy, so, but he actually, when he transforms, he usually transforms into a white guy. Except in Young Justice. They finally decide, okay, he sounds like a black guy, and he's played by a black guy, so, black guy. But that's the thing, kids wouldn't care about that. Only adults would. So they obviously had this thing in mind where they were worrying about how the adults would feel about it. It's like they're not cooperating with the way that the world works. They're not adding black person. Oh, this is racist. So many white people. You have an alien. No, you have two aliens. I think that we're cool here. You even have a feminist. Amazon. Amazons are feminists. That's how I see it. But that's a thing. It's a thing that the kids wouldn't worry about. And also, there's the part with I wanted to talk about a few things without going directly into the thing. So there was Amazo. And everybody knows Amazo. He's like this huge elf robot. He's got green pants and elf ears and everything, and he's a complete robot. Except that in this one, he was a giant gray creature, kind of like the one from When the Earth Stood Still, The Day the Earth Stood Still. Actually, more like the modern one. Funny enough, it's more like the modern one. That's what he is, because he's made of nanites, nanotech. That's the whole thing. But Amazo, his powers are still there, but the difference was he had emotions. And when he absorbed the powers, he would also absorb the mental abilities and emotions of that person. Obviously, taking not only their powers, but their techniques, the way they do things. So, that was just something that a lot of kids wouldn't get. It's like, oh, it's a giant robot. It's attacking people. Rah. And adults back in the 90s, they wouldn't care about that. Was it? Yeah, it was still around the 90s. That's when I remember it. 1990, yeah, late 90s and 2000s, obviously. It drew into the 2000s, but it began in the 90s. And then they had the whole thing where they had to finish it off in Unlimited. See, because what happened at the end is he basically turned from silver to gold. And he's like, I've evolved beyond you. And he leaves. He jumps into space. And then in Unlimited, he comes back as a god. He's not even made of nanotech anymore. They specifically point that out because they try to shut him down. The Atom is there. He's like, I'm a master of nanotech. I know all about this. I'm an expert on this. And I'm going to go ahead and make this laser. And it will destroy nanotech. And he's like, and then he gets shot with it. And he's like, well, that's a clever trick. You were trying to destroy my nanotech. That would have worked if I was still made of nanotech. So what's he made of now? We don't even know. It's something so far beyond what we even understand. He's a god. And he has all these powers that he's accumulated from flying around the universe. It's an incredible plot point, just to put it plainly. It's something that you wouldn't imagine a kid even understanding, because we can't even understand it. The whole point is that we can't fathom it. And then his whole, like, I need to destroy Lex Luthor, but I also need to understand what am I for? Which I think is what they asked themselves. They made Justice League Unlimited. Like, we started out with all these adult themes, with all these feelings, with great script writing and incredible animation. The animation for all of the shows has been fantastic. And to have the animation and the script writing be so incredible and so present, it's amazing. It's a great show. And the kids just didn't appreciate it because they didn't understand it. And they couldn't commit to it like you needed to. There's a lot of parts, and you have to watch it all the way through. So, final verdict, it's great. But it came at the wrong time. I mean, shows now like Young Justice, kids, like teenagers like myself, got into that because we liked it. And the animation for Young Justice was incredible. I might get on that later, but I haven't seen it all the way through. And of course, the part where it got canceled was kind of sad and unfortunate. So that was that. But the main point being, it was a fantastic show. It was just not at the right time. If it had came later, if they had even decided, let's just make it into an adult show, had less episodes, but condensed them so that they were an hour length and you could just watch it all the way through. Even if they did that when they were kids, it would still be a thing. I'm sure adults would be like, okay, when this show's over, an hour later. This was an hour show? Jeez, you kids shouldn't be watching this. I don't know what adult would do that, but Dad man would do that. Dad man, it's a thing. Maybe I'll tell you a story about it later, but here is the main point for like the third time that I'm saying it. It was an incredible show. You should watch it. It had a lot of adult themes, so if you're watching this and you're a teen going into your early adulthood, Like, most of you, or a lot of you, or if you're still just a teen, still check it out. Please, please do, because it's an incredible show. If you like anything about the Justice League, if you like any of the heroes, they all have their parts to play, and they're all incredible parts, and they all do very well. The story is just the best. So, that being said, I'm Awesome Man for AGS, and please remember to check us out. This is going to be up on Facebook if you're watching it on my channel. If you're watching it on Facebook, you can come check out my channel. I only have like 4 episodes or videos up right now, but I'm gonna have some more stuff, and we'll see what happens. But that being it, thank you for joining me. Awesome Man out.